Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Means we're brought to you by Immense Cloud IT Management. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you're here with us. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Sharif Ishak talking Saints draft coming up in 15 minutes. Glenn West from Go 24/7 talking all things Tigers in 30 minutes. Aiden Anding out for the year. What does that mean for LSU's secondary? We'll talk about it coming up at 2 o'clock. LSU and Northwestern are on the diamond tonight at the box at 6:30. So we've got plenty to do. Let's dive in the way we do every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Let's start with LSU football practice. Lane Kiffin gave the media over an hour today to take in LSU's football practice out there on the Ponderosa. This is one of those reports where I watched for an hour, I got in the car, drove here, typed up the practice report best I could. Lane Kiffin had met with the media. I watched his 20-minute press conference, and then I had to come sit down. I got done with the press conference 6 minutes ago. So in terms of organizing a lot of thoughts and putting it in sequential order here for a gorgeous opening segment, we're a little bit rushed in time for that. So I'm just going to kind of let my notebook spill out onto the microphone here, and you'll know. I will say this big picture for the day. It was a much better effort by the LSU offense. I left Tiger Stadium on Saturday going, whew, this offense has no chance right now. And Lane Kiffin felt the same way. He talked about it right at the top of his press conference today, said it was really discouraging to watch the LSU offense try to make plays on Saturday. They couldn't really block, could not get open down the field, could not make any plays. They were turning the ball over. It was a tough scene for the LSU offense on Saturday. I thought they threw some punches back a little bit today. We got a chance to see some 11-on-11. That included some series. That included some short yardage. That included some goal line. We saw some 7-on-7. We saw some 1-on-1. So a lot that we got to. Let me kind of dive in with some of the things that caught my eye. We'll start with the 11-on-11 period. To paint that picture, everybody's in helmets and shoulder pads. They're all in shorts. They're never going to tackle the entire spring. Lane Kiffin said that today. But it was a physical period. It was a tempo period. The energy was up. The intensity was up. I thought that it was a reasonable look. Keep in mind, on running plays, you're not tackling. So sometimes the defensive end sticks his arm out. Sometimes a linebacker's there in the hole and the running back keeps running. Exactly how many yards they would have gotten on each and every play is a little bit difficult to discern. But you can see when holes open up. You can see when there's space created. And so I'll kind of go into what we saw in the 11-on-11s. It started off very poorly for the offense. It got better, but it started off very poorly for the offense. Winnie Watkins dropped a screen. They threw him another screen. He was tackled for a loss. Houston Longstreet was working with the first team. We haven't seen a ton of that thus far. He rolled to his right and fired an interception down the field. So that wasn't great. But they got into some short yardage, which means third and fourth and short, not necessarily by the goal line. And I thought Dylan Jones hit a really nice run up the middle for 5, maybe 10 yards there, but you could see the hole open up in the interior offensive line. Then Harlem Berry broke free on an inside run that probably was going to be a very big play, tackle or not. They opened a big old hole. He made somebody miss, and he was off to the races. That would have been a really nice run. The next snap, Landon Clark was in there, and they did a play action in the backfield, and Jackson Harris beat the defense, and Clark laid it in for a really nice touchdown. So on 3 consecutive plays, nice run, really good run, play action for a big play over the top. That, quite honestly, kind of looked like a Lane Kiffin offense. Running the football, moving fast, creating a big play. That was very good. You saw the second team come in, although there was a lot of rotation. So at times you're going to hear me say Caden Durham's working at the threes. It's sometimes you're got the starting defense out there, and I use air quotes, and Jace Thomas is out there. It's not a definite 1 through 11, but this is kind of the second group is what it looked like. In the first play in the short yardage was a direct snap to a non-quarterback, non-running back, non-offensive player. Direct snap to Deuce Geralds. true freshman defensive tackle. Lane Kiffin said today, that's kind of why I don't really want y'all at practice. This is the time of year we kind of want to look at some things. They snapped it to Deuce Geralds. I don't know that he got a lot of yards, but he got some snaps in there. Zach Weeks was also part of the jumbo package for the first team. He came over from the defensive side of the ball. So to continue on with that second team, Husan Longstreet pulled a read option and ran it off tackle to the left. I don't know how many yards he would have gotten, whether or not he turned the corner. Hard to tell there, but he does run pretty well. There was a false start. Dominic McKinley made a tackle for loss, which was nice to see. Jace Brown got involved with a quick screen. He's the Kansas State transfer. They hit Malik Elzy for a 20-yard gain, although while that was a really nice throw and a really nice catch by Elzy, I think Dylan Carpenter had a sack on the play. Like, I saw the defensive line coach pump his fist. Carpenter did beat the tackle. I think he probably gets a sack there, but good. You had a good pass rush. If the pass rush wouldn't have gotten there, nice throw and catch down the field. Zach Weeks also had a tackle for loss in that period. There was a third team group. Caden Durham had a short run. Rod Gainey had a nice run there. They had a tackle for loss on Durham from Amari Peterson, the corner, and then Mason Dossett had an interception of Emil Picarella. Dossett's a transfer safety who came in. Picarella, the third-team quarterback right now with Levitt out, will be fourth team when that time comes. What I noticed from a lot of these reps, and especially some of the goal line stuff that we saw, Dylan Jones did a nice job. They've really liked the way that he's played. He got in the end zone in the goal line package. Stacey Gage took a couple of direct snaps and got in the end zone 3 straight times on the third team. So that was a lot of the highlights from the 11-on-11. I thought the offense opened up some holes in the ground game. They hit some big plays in the running game. I thought it looked pretty good for the offense for the most part. Now let me get you into some one-on-one results that I saw. We'll start with the offense-defense line in pass rush, and then we'll get to the wide receivers and the DBs. Weston Davis had 2 really nice reps in the one-on-ones. He beat Dylan Carpenter, and then he beat Jordan Ross. Did a good job holding his line there. Darren Stray and Malik Blockton went at each other twice in a row. That's how they did most of these reps. 2 guys would go back-to-back. I kind of like that. The guy that gets beat maybe on the first rep maybe has a chip on his shoulder in the next one, and if you beat somebody twice, you've really done something. So I thought it was good to see Darren Stray and Malik Blockton split 2 reps. William Satterwhite and Sean Washington as reserves split 2 reps. Then Jordan Seaton came in. This was noteworthy. I feel like I've seen this before. And trust me, like this is not just me leaning on the easy comparison. It's very noticeable, okay? Very noticeable. Jordan Seaton had 2 reps against Dylan Carpenter, and it looked exactly like Will Campbell. Seaton would kick step backwards, set himself up, and then boom. I mean, just lock in on Carpenter, who would go nowhere. And most of those reps, especially at tackle, do not look like that. When you've got a pass rush drill with an edge rusher against a tackle, there is so much space. There's usually a lot of movement. Sometimes it's not even like realistic as to what a real pass rush might look like. When a tackle is able to just like tractor beam an edge in and just stonewall, that does not happen very often. Campbell did it almost every time, and Seaton did it twice to Dylan Carpenter, where it was just like, whoop. It was like he got magnetically sucked in, and that's all he could do. It was really impressive. Damian Shanklin had a really nice rep against Devin Harper and bullied him to the ground. Deuce Geralds also won a rep against Devin Harper, the Ole Miss transfer. However, Harper bounced back. He went against Jaylen Brown twice and won both of those reps. I was really impressed, especially based on their age. Richard Anderson, former 5-star freshman, true freshman, won a bull rush against Bo Bordelon, who's a very old player. And Bordelon's had a really, really nice start to camp thus far. Spring camp, I should say, and Anderson won a bull rush against him. Bryson Martinez also had 2 really nice reps against Damian Shanklin. So that was a look at some of the offensive and defensive line one-on-ones. Wide receiver DB. Now keep in mind on this one, this very, very, very much is skewed to the offense. There's so much space out there. You've got no safety help. You got no linebacker help on the inside. You got no pass rush. The quarterback can sit there and pat the ball and throw the ball all over the field, and you got the wide receiver against the DB. So keep in mind this is very much skewed to the offense. But Trey Wilson beat Jakeem Jackson in a battle of former Florida Gators. I thought there was a couple of really nice reps by Jace Brown, who just absolutely torched Fahim Delane on a double move, just really smooth and got deep for a deep ball. Jabari Mack, first spring here for the freshman, he beat P.J. Woodland on a deep ball. Fahim Delane came back and got a nice breakup against Jace Brown. PJ Woodland, really good play on a slant. Jackson Harris, big physical Hawaii receiver, ran a slant route, and PJ Woodland undercut it and really did a great job of breaking that up. Battle of true freshmen. Havon Finney beat Corey Barber on a really good rep and knocked a pass away. Jackson Harris did beat PJ Woodland a little bit later on a double move for a deep ball. And the last rep was Jackson Harris against PJ Woodland, and it was a really good rep by everybody. Harris ran a good route down the sideline. Woodland was kind of there, stride for stride. The ball was put up deep, and I didn't chart the quarterbacks on this. There's too much for me to write down to get the quarterbacks on every rep. Apologies, but doesn't really matter. You're talking about Woodland in good coverage. Harris climbed the ladder, went up and made the catch, but came down with just 1 foot just out of bounds. So it was an incomplete pass. Good coverage by Woodland. Nice job by Harris to go up and high point it, but he couldn't get one down. Roman Mothershed also had a really nice back shoulder catch on Havon Finney. That was a really good play. The special teams period we saw, I thought the only really noteworthy thing, I'll tell you who the returners were, but Trey Wilson from Florida muffed 3 punts in a row. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but that's not real encouraging. I don't know if that means a ton in September, but one is he muffed a punt, I made a note, and then they punted again and he muffed it again, and so I made a note again, and then he muffed a third one in a row. It's that's not great. Your punt returners were Jabari Mack, true freshman, Jace Brown, Winnie Watkins, Dylan Jones, the running back, was back there, Trey Wilson, and Tyree Holloway from Northwest Florida. And then your kick returners were Stacey Gage, Caden Durham, Harlem Berry, all running backs, and then Corey Barber, the true freshman wide receiver, was back there as well. The kick returners were clean. It was a shorter kickoff, and they didn't drop one today, so just the muffs on the punting. Nothing of super note in the final team period. I thought a nice job on one play by Jordan Ross, the defensive end from Tennessee. He backed into coverage and made an interception, which was a nice play. That was kind of the big news and notes from the day. I will tell you, because we'll do Levitt Watch like every practice. He was out there. He had on his no-contact jersey. He had on a helmet. He had on shoulder pads. And he didn't do anything. I kept watching him in the individuals to see if he would grab a ball and make a couple throws, because he's done that a good bit early on in spring. He even did a little bit of that walking around in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. But today, Levitt was fully dressed with the rest of the team, shoulder pads, helmet. He had the tennis shoes on with the surgically repaired foot. He did not participate in practice. And Lane Kiffin talked about that today, and I'll probably get to it when we play the sound a little bit tomorrow. But said, one of the things that we knew we signed up for when we signed Sam Levitt is that the offense would have some growing pains in spring. It's a new system. It's all new players, and you don't have your starting quarterback. That could be a bit of an issue, and it looked like it on Saturday, no question about it. However, today, while the defense made their plays, you heard me talk about a couple of interceptions, Dylan Carpenter coming around for a sack, big TFL for Don McKinley. There were certainly some really good plays by the defense. I thought the offense threw some punches back today in the running game and in the deep passing game. So that's always good. Forever and ever, amen. I'm going to hope, upon all hope, that when we go out there, especially in fall camp, that the reps look split, because I have seen the reps in the course of multiple years not be split and one side of the ball really dominate, and those teams weren't good. So you hope that both teams go out there and throw their punches over the course of a practice, and I really did think today that happened. So appreciate Lane Kiffin for giving us as much time as he did, and we'll get another look at practice a little bit later on this week. Got a full practice report, Matt and myself. There's stuff in that practice report that I didn't talk about just now, 7-on-7 reps and some other things that you can get into and check it out for free on LouisianaSports.net right there on the homepage. So highly recommend you go check that out at LouisianaSports.net. We got a couple more guests coming up in this hour. Sharif Ishak's coming up. Glenn West will be with us as well. We'll talk some baseball in hour number 2. And I've got a thought on the basketball transfer portal, which is moving very, very slowly. I'll get to that at the end of hour number 1. Our Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. We'll come back with Sharif Ishak next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. A renovation / remodel doesn't have to be a big project. Doesn't have to be an invasive project. Doesn't have to be a time-altering project that just feels like they never leave. That's not the case. A tub-to-shower conversion can be done in 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days for a tub-to-shower conversion. So if you've got an old bathtub, you've got a dingy bathtub, you've got a bathtub that doesn't function or that you don't use, well, why do you have it? It's taking up space. Get rid of it and put in that gorgeous shower. Change the aesthetic of your bathroom, change the functionality of your bathroom, and do it with the company that's been doing it for 40 years. David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. You can get that free consultation at onebathandclosets.com. And understand, financing options are available, 0% up to 18 months. It's all there online at onebathandclosets.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Shout out Gotros Outdoor Power, Gotros Outdoor Power. You can find them online at gotrosonline.com, but stop in. 2 locations, one Baton Rouge and Airline Highway, one in Gonzales. They've been at it for 22 years. You can buy a zero-turn mower at a lot of the big box stores, right? But what's the difference? Well, one, I tell you, with Gotros Outdoor Power, you're going to get that personal touch, that community feel. You're going to get that customer service. The other piece is actually tangible. Yeah, you're going to get the warranty with the manufacturer of the equipment. You can get that anywhere. But how about the extended warranty that comes from Gotros? You can add 2 years or 200 hours to the manufacturer's warranty with Gotros being the guarantor. That's what they do over at Gotros Outdoor Power. So if you're looking for a new zero-turn mower, it's time that grass is going to be growing now for the next 6 months. Get behind one from the folks at Gotros Outdoor Power. You can stop by Airline Highway or in Gonzales. And check them out online at GoTrosOnline.com, GoTrosOnline.com. Sharif Ishak, WDSU down in New Orleans, talking Saints. I feel like we're pretty close to the draft now. I feel like we've talked about the draft, and I felt like we're not close to the draft. We're close to the draft now. Is there some excitement building down in the 504, Sharif?
Yeah, it's the changing my picks every week, back and forth between 2 or 3 players for the 8th overall pick. So that means the excitement is 100% in the air on Airline Drive.
I'm curious your thoughts before we go to individual players in the draft. Let's just take the Saints offense and the Saints defense. We know what they were last year. We know there were injuries. We know what free agency brought early on, especially with the additions on the offense at guard and running back. So, what side of the ball do you feel like is in better shape today, offense or defense?
Oof, that's a tough one, man, because I think each side needs a serious piece or two to complete that side of the ball. But I am going to give it a slight lean to the offense.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Well, because they added, a dynamic playmaker and Travis Etienne, and they added a very good guard in David Edwards. So that gives me, hope that the offense is slightly ahead of where the defense is. Even though the defense has some really good pieces, I still think that they addressed important positions of need more so on the offense than defense, even though they got Caden Ellis. But I think they addressed 2 very important pieces for them on offense with more to come, I think, in the NFL draft. So the slight edge right now goes to the offense.
I agree with that because you look at the offensive line and you have a small issue at right guard. I'm not even calling it a question mark. It's an issue. And then you're probably 1 playmaker short. On defense, I've got some questions about linebacker. I've got some questions about the interior defensive line, and I certainly have questions about your ability to hold up at corner consistently week in and week out, especially against the best players in the NFL. So, I don't think that there are massive problems on the defense, but I just think there are less question marks on the offense. So with that being said, do you feel like in the course of that conversation we've determined that the defense is where we probably need to make that pick next week, or the first one?
Well, they can't go wrong with a pick at either side of the ball. It depends on who you're asking. If you're asking me, I still believe Tyler Shuck needs to get another dynamic playmaker.
Okay.
Without a question. Look, yes, they have Travis. Yes, they have Chris. Yes, they have Devon. But after Chris and Devon, they really don't have anyone reliable. I mean, yeah, you could say they have Jalen Polk, but who and what is he going to be? We don't know that. Mason Tipton, really not much. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what else you're going to do on offense? I mean, you got to get Juwan Johnson. They still need another tight end. So it all depends on how the draft board falls. If you're asking me, Hunt, who I would want versus who's going to be there, I would say I would want Carnell Tate, receiver from Ohio State. Realistically, what I think is going to be there, and this won't be a bad pick. This would be a great pick at Montour Delane from LSU. Obviously, you know that. So I would be happy with either guy. You can't go wrong with Montour or Carnell with that pick.
What about edge rusher, because you have Granderson and Young under contract, and you realize that Cam Jordan is still out there? And I'll be honest, I kind of feel like Cam Jordan's coming back to New Orleans because I don't think there's a market for him elsewhere. And I think the Saints are probably the only team that's going to give him some money. So, how do you feel about edge rusher right now?
It's maybe something you can address later in the draft, maybe 3rd round. Look, if it's, I don't know if I would. I'm on the fence when it comes to Ruben Bain. It seems like if you're left with Ruben Bain, Malachi Lemon, and Jordan Tyson on the board, I feel like, Ruben Bain, I guess, would be your pick at that spot since receiver is kind of deep in the draft. But, I in my opinion, I would go receiver, corner first, and then one or the other in the 2nd round, and then maybe try to address edge in the 3rd round. I know it's not that deep of a position, but I still think there's some talent there in the 3rd and 4th round where you can find somebody to help the depth on that offensive line.
I've gotten some different opinions on this question. I'm curious your thoughts. Is it important to you if the Saints take a wide receiver in the 1st round or the 2nd round? I think it's likely they take one in one of those 2 rounds. Is it important to you that player look and play different than Chris Olave, or do you just want somebody that's good? And if they're 6 feet and 185 pounds and run good routes, like that's kind of what Olave does, but we'll just take 2 of them.
I would love a good football player. How about that? I would love a good receiver. And I don't care if they run the same routes. I would love them to be a little bit bigger. How about that? I'd love a good football player who's a little bit bigger. That's why I like Carnell Tate a lot. I mean, there are a lot of good receivers in this draft. It's a deep receiver. I mean, you can go in a number of directions there. I mean, like I'm good with whoever. I mean, I would just like to see Tyler Shuck get another difference maker on offense. I mean, I've gone through a number of mock drafts, and I just keep coming back to Carnell Tate or somebody else in the second or third or fourth round. But don't be surprised if they address it twice, son. They're better off getting a receiver maybe in the second and the fourth round, or the first and the third round, or first and the fourth round. It wouldn't hurt them.
No doubt. It's but you do have some questions. Now, one name we have not talked about here, and it's in a position we haven't talked about, is Caleb Downs. That's not in the conversation that we have had up to this point. What are your thoughts there?
A lot of people bring up a good point about the top safety in the draft. How often does the top safety in the draft go in the top 8?
Not often.
And not often. I mean, they talked about, with Derwin James,
Jamal Adams,
Jamal Adams. I mean, they've seen so many good safeties that say, man, these guys are surefire top 10 picks. And look, they go 12 to 20. Caleb Downs is a good safety. Look, he could play the star, he could play the slot, he could play safety. Good tackler, good defender. Or are you going to take the number 8 pick on him? I think he's going to be there at number 8. Are you going to take that pick at number 8? I mean, I think the only way that happens is if all 4 of their guys are off the board. And even then, I don't know, man. I mean, he could really fill a couple positions for you if you draft him. But at number 8, it just feels like it's a bit too high for me, even though he's a really good football player.
Last question. This one's unanswerable, and even if you asked it in a press conference, they wouldn't give you a truthful answer. But I just want your gut from being around that program for a long time. We know that Sean Payton carried a lot of weight in the draft room. I'm curious how much you think Kellen Moore carries after year 1.
I think he carries a little bit more than we think. I think that Tyler Shuck pick was his. He wanted Tyler Shuck. You've got to think about it, Hunt. He was at Tyler Shuck's pro day last year, and he got Tyler Shuck. He was at Kelvin Banks' pro day, and they got Kelvin Banks. So I think Dennis wasn't that guy. So I think Dennis was probably like, he asked for help from the front office and let the front office make pretty much most of those decisions. I don't think that Dennis was that type of coach. I think Kellen, even though, in press conference, he doesn't say much. He's a smiley, giggly type of guy. He doesn't give you much. But I think behind closed doors, he likes to make those decisions. So I think he's going to have even more input this year. That's why I think he is going to need to get his guys again this year and help out Tyler Shuck, whether it's the first or second or multiple picks. But I think they're going to have to do that, and I think he's going to have a good say-so in this draft.
Here's what I think. I think that most Saints fans and most football fans in general feel good when you take a running back, when you take an offensive lineman. It's like, all right, you got to be good up front. Yeah, the Saints have done that so much, and they're not going to do that on Thursday of next week. And I just think that whoever the pick is, that Saints fans are going to have fun with it. They're going to be like, oh, this is really exciting, because it's not super exciting to get a right tackle. Like, you got to have it. It's got to be great. We know how good a right tackle, how big a good right tackle can be. Ryan Ramczyk was one of the best in the NFL. But there are more positions that are more fun to talk about, and I think that's what's going to happen next week, right?
I hope so. The one thing that scares me, Hunt, if Francis Maui Noah is on the board.
Yes.
Miami offensive lineman. He's awesome. The number 1 offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That scares me if he's on the board at number 8, because you know what they're going to do if he's there at number 8. Just saying.
I would probably chuckle, and that wouldn't be a bad pick. He'd probably be a right guard. But it's not the most fun thing to talk about. I'd like to talk about somebody who's going to score 15 touchdowns. So we'll see if they can get that figured out next Thursday. We'll talk about it again next week. Thanks, Sharif.
You got it, Hunt. See you next week.
He's Sharif Ishak, WDSU down in New Orleans, joining us a little bit early here on this Tuesday. Glenn West going to be with us coming up next, talking Tigers. Glenn talks some. He was at practice today, so we'll talk a little about that. He was at Lane Kiffin's press conference today. We'll talk about that, and certainly LSU baseball as well as the Tigers are on the diamond tonight against Northwestern State at 6:30. Speaking of tonight, if you're looking for something to do this evening, Court to Table is an awesome spot to be. Come by and see us. 8 o'clock. We'll be doing sports trivia from inside the bar area there. You can win gift cards. You can win time on the pickleball court. Have some delicious drinks. We'll be watching LSU baseball on the television. So always enjoy our time there. 8 o'clock till about 9:15 is all it is. So if you want to go do something tonight on a Tuesday, come see us at Court to Table on Burbank. That's where we'll do sports trivia starting at 8 o'clock. Come back with Glenn West next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com, but I highly suggest you go by and see him on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. The Fabry family's been at this for nearly 4 decades, right? They're a trusted name in this community because of their customer service, because of the buying experience, because of the service after the sale. You can rest assured when you go see them in St. Francisville, you're going to have a wonderful experience. If you'd like to start that experience online, I get that. That's how we start most of our experiences here. I don't really go to a restaurant without checking out the menu online. You're buying a car. That's a little bit bigger investment. You want to start online right there, you certainly can. But go by and see them on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras. Great time to get a truck, great time to get an SUV, great time to visit my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Online at FabryChevrolet.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Today's show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Just talk some Saints with Sharif Ashak. Let's talk Tigers. Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7, gives us time on Tuesdays. Glenn, how are you, sir?
Doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
Doing all right. You were out at practice today for a while. Where'd you spend your time?
Yeah, I think, just kind of roaming around, getting a couple extra hours in over the last couple of days with these practices, whether it's the scrimmage on Saturday and then Tuesday today. Just kind of getting a feel for how they operate practice here under Coach Kiffin. And, they did some one-on-one drills. They did a lot of team periods. They did some short yardage and goal line situational work as well. I think for me, one of the things that has kind of stood out over the last couple days that we've gotten to have some of these extended viewings has been the running back room. I think there's a lot of competition going on there right now. Obviously, we knew that Harlan Berry and Caden Durham were going to get a lot of work this spring. But Dylan Jones, the Wisconsin transfer, and then Stacey Gage, the UCF transfer, I think have both done some really good things. They've been getting a lot of looks here with that quote-unquote first team over the last couple days of practice. And I think that they feel like this is going to be a real open competition at that position group, really beyond spring and going into fall and into the off-season here. So that's maybe one thing that stood out to me. I think the offense today had a much better day overall in the team period stuff than what we saw in the scrimmage on Saturday, which is good to see. The defense pretty much dominated the scrimmage on Saturday, and Coach Kiffin kind of alluded to that in his press conference afterwards. But the offense, I thought, made some nice plays. They kind of caught the defense out of position on some different plays throughout the course of the practice, and I thought overall it was a real physical, real good start to the week here for LSU.
You'll ask Lane Kiffin about the offense, and he went back to Saturday. Can you kind of synopsize his thoughts on Saturday's effort offensively?
I'm not surprised by his disappointment, I guess, with the offensive performance on Saturday. It was a little bit of a rough go for them, but like I said, I thought that they bounced back and did a nice job today, and had made some plays. And I think one of the kind of more surprises of maybe the skills position group players has also been someone like Roman Mothershed, a transfer that they got out of the portal this year. He's a legit 6'3", 6'4". He made one of the best plays of the day on Saturday. I think it was a 45-yard touchdown down the left sideline of one of the scrimmage drives there. But, look, I think part of the thing here that Coach Kiffin talked about with us today is that they knew when they signed Sam Levitt back in January that it was going to be a little bit of a rough go here in the spring as guys kind of started to get adjusted to the new system, and particularly at the quarterback position with guys like Landon Clark and Hussam Longstreet, who really don't have a ton of experience playing, athletes of this caliber at the college level. It's been a little bit of an adjustment for those two guys, but I think it's something here that is good for them and is good for their experience level, and hopefully they can get Levitt back here on the field sometime over the course of summer and certainly going into the fall camp as well.
Glenn West with us, senior writer over at Go 24/7. We'll get to baseball to wrap things up, but just a quick thought. Are you a little bit surprised that Will Wade has not reeled in a transfer to this point? The entirety of the transfer portal moving a little bit slowly in college basketball right now.
Yeah, I normally maybe would be, going like a whole week here with the portal open with nothing really done. But I kind of did a little bit of a deep dive into the portal, I think on Sunday or maybe it was Monday morning. Really there's only been, I counted it up, out of the top 200 players, at least as of like Sunday, late evening, early Monday, only about 20% of the top 200 players had signed with a new program. And so there's still a lot of really good players out there. There's still obviously a lot of behind-the-scenes work going on with Coach Wade and that staff right now as they try to really figure out what they want and who they want to bring in here. So, and I think the other thing here is that a lot of the players that we heard maybe linked to LSU last week or early last week haven't made their decisions yet. I think the one exception so far has been PJ Haggerty, the guard, who's since gone to Texas A&M. But there's still a lot of really good players out there who haven't made their decisions yet. And LSU's going to just continue to work on them, and hopefully we get some answers here sooner than later.
All right, let's talk about the baseball team. They go to Oxford and come up empty over the weekend. How big a deal is that?
It's a huge deal. I mean, I think, if you want to kind of stay on pace here to make a tournament run, you had to get at least one. And, to get swept here, now you're going to have to really make up for it over the next 5 weeks. Their RPI is not in a great place right now. They only have they have enough conference games to technically get their way back into this thing and feel good about their positioning going into the tournament. But it's just a team right now that has a lot of issues that they're continuing to work through. And I think there was a couple of weeks period there against Kentucky and against Tennessee where maybe you thought they might be starting to put some things together, but there were also still some issues in those series that have certainly reared their ugly heads here this last weekend in Oxford. And I think you have to start, obviously, with the pitching. It really doesn't look like there's a whole lot of guys right now that LSU can trust to go get you some length in any of these games. I thought they struggled on the mound as a whole this last weekend. Offensively, when you only score, I think it was 12 runs over the 3 games, and really you didn't show up in that Sunday game except for 1 inning that you were able to kind of hit yourself back into the game a little bit there. Just a lot of inconsistencies right now throughout the course of this team, and they really need this week to go very smoothly if they really want to get back into that postseason picture and make some noise here in the last month of the season.
If Jay Johnson gave you a call and said, Glenn, I don't know who I'm going to start tonight, I'm just going to take your advice on it, who would you start on a Tuesday against Northwestern State? The starts in the midweek have not gone super well. How would you handle tonight?
Yeah, look, it's going to be another platoon kind of system thing here. I mean, it's a great question because it seems like they've tried everybody, to be honest with you, in that spot, whether it's Reagan Ricken, Omar Marcos Paz, Jaden Newt's had a start there.
Gavin Guidry started in Lafayette.
Yeah, I mean, like they've gone through pretty much all the options here, and I don't really know where they will go, to be quite honest with you. I think maybe Paz, just because I think Sunday he gave you a clean inning, didn't throw a ton of pitches. Maybe Jay's like, all right, let's just lean into one of the only guys that gave us a clean inning here. Maybe he can get us 3 or 4 outs, and then you kind of just piece it together after that. But they just need these guys to throw more strikes. I mean, they're just not finding the strike zone very consistently right now. I thought the Saturday game was just a real disaster. It just kind of really fell apart on them quickly on the mound, and so they've got to find something here. They just don't have a whole ton of arms outside of Zach Callen and William Schmidt and maybe to a lesser degree Casey Evans, who they can really count on to get some length out of their on the mound for them. So they've got a lot of work to do there.
Certainly do. You feel like Braden Simpson tonight at second base? I'm assuming Seth Dardar is not going to be able to play.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes the most sense. Certainly there's not a whole lot of other options there. I think Trent Caraway has also been a little bit banged up here recently. He hadn't played in a while. I think that's probably where they end up going there. And Pearson at third. Mason Braun, I would imagine, will continue to start at first. I thought he was maybe one of the lone bright spots offensively for you. He had 5 hits over the weekend. I know he got picked off in a very crucial moment there in that first game, but they just need somebody to give them some kind of contributions offensively at that position, and I think he's at least showed you enough over the weekend to continue at least playing at first base for the short term here.
Last one, 15 SEC games to play. Do you think they're going to make the NCAA tournament?
Right now, I would probably lean more towards no. I mean, they're in a really rough spot right now. I think for me, can they get to that 15-15 mark to make things interesting? I think they'd have to go 9-6 for the rest of the conference schedule. I'm not even sure if that would be enough, though. Even if because of the non-conference losses that they have, they might have to have a winning record in SEC play to really kind of get firm positioning there. I remember last week after they lost to Bethune-Cookman, they talked about needing to probably win an extra 1 or 2 games to make up for that loss. Well, now you just lost to Ole Miss in 3 straight games. I think you might have to get to another 10 wins here in conference play over the next 5 weeks. So we'll see if they can do it, but there's certainly a lot of work that they have to do in order to get into that spot.
We shall see. See you this weekend at the box, Glenn. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, man.
Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7, talking a little bit of Tigers. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. If you are unhappy with your IT situation, which is the case with a lot of people, with a lot of businesses, how about you give Immense a shot? Immense has been in business for 20 years. They're locally owned and operated by some LSU grads. They're available for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are a proactive IT management company. That means they're constantly monitoring your system to make sure that they get out in front of issues that may arise. That's the difference. When we think about IT, we think about, well, this computer's frozen now. Like, come help. I've been there. You've been there. If you're a company that's 50 to 100 employees and you're just not thrilled with your IT, whether you're overworking your one IT staffer or you've got a third party that's just not doing what they said they would do for you, Immense would love a chance to earn your trust. They've done it with dozens and dozens and dozens of clients around the state of Louisiana. They've got experts in QuickBooks and Salesforce and other CRMs, but they're so much more than that. They're proactive and they're consulting, and they're here to help you use technology to further your business. So just have a meeting, have a conversation with the folks at Immense. Go to their website, immense.net. That's immense.net. And give them a try. They bring you our Tuesday shows each and every week. That's Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Glenn says there that feels like they may have to get to 16 and 14 or so. I would go on the under on that. I don't think they're completely cooked at 13. I think at 14 they should feel really good about things. SEC teams with a 14 and 16 record, I believe, have gotten in every single time. Now, I understand LSU shortcomings in the non-conference, and look, you rattle off 2 more non-conference losses and you're saddled with that many Q4 L's. Like, it can be a different conversation for sure. I don't buy the thought, and this is early to have this discussion, but I don't buy the fact that the purple and gold hat's going to get you in the field. I don't think that's the case. In fact, I think the purple and gold hat hurt you back in 2011. So you'd like to take it out of the hands of the committee. I don't know if LSU's in a spot to do that. I, too, lean on Glenn's side that I would, if you made me bet $4 on whether or not they make the NCAA tournament, I would bet against it. But I also understand that one weekend can make a massive difference. I mean, how different do you feel about Tennessee after they go sweep Mississippi State? How different do you feel about Texas A&M after they take 2 and don't lose against Texas? How differently do you feel about, Florida? They beat Georgia 2 out of 3. In the same vein, like, how different do you feel about LSU today than you did before last weekend? How differently do you feel like Missouri? They got swept by South Carolina. They just won a series. One weekend changes things so rapidly, and that can happen again if you go out there and play really well against Texas A&M. You beat A&M 3 times in a row, which, trust me, I am not picking them to do by any stretch of the imagination. But if you did that, which is possible, if you went out there and won 3 games in a row, like, your RPI would shoot up 20 spots, and your conference record would be flipped on its head, and you'd all of a sudden be 9-9, and like, everything would be different. But they haven't given you reason to change the framework. Yeah, they won a weekend at Tennessee. Yeah, they won a weekend against Kentucky. But you realize that, like, Kentucky's not any good. Oklahoma's not any good. Vanderbilt's not that good. And you've already played your weekends against those teams. So there's opportunity. There's challenge coming. There's a lot of issues. And candidly, right now, as I sit here, just go beat Northwestern State in a baseball game tonight. I'll preview it coming up in the second hour. About 30 minutes from right now, I'll preview it and tell you what I'm looking for this evening. But that's what you got to look at right now. We'll step aside, take a time out, come back. There's a basketball transfer portal thought that I have had a chance to do a little bit of digging, and I'm hopeful that one's headed this way. We'll see.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Looking for that Generac home standby generator? Well, if you don't have one, you should. In this part of the world, we got power outages. We got nasty summer thunderstorms. We got hurricanes. We got winter storms. Sometimes the power goes out, and I look around, and I don't even know why. Well, give yourself the peace of mind that that's not going to happen at your house. The folks at Boudreaux's Electrical can install that Generac home standby generator and give you the peace of mind to know you're not losing power. Maybe you work from home. You can't lose power at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday just because an August thunderstorm blew through. You can't lose power because you've got young kids at home. They can't be sitting in a 94-degree house. If you don't want to lose power, call Neil and Melissa Boudreaux. They've been running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years. They'll have a local team come and install that generator. They'll monitor it. They'll manage it and do the maintenance on it. It's a local company. 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562 or 225-300-9389. Boudreaux's Electrical Services.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit SpineCenterLA.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
No matter what your medical situation is, there's a spot for you at Ochsner. Visit their symptom checker online at ochsner.org/findcare. If you're looking for primary care, that's your comprehensive and continuous care, your annual checkups, your headaches, maybe lower back pain, mild asthma. That's when you need to see a primary care doctor. You can do virtual visits there as well. If it's a little bit more, and I use the word intentionally, urgent, meaning you need some immediate care, you need to check into their urgent care situations. That's sprains, lacerations, cough, cold, sore throat, earache, maybe a mild to moderate stomach ache or minor burns. Urgent care. It's great that they welcome walk-ins. They're extended hours. You can find a location at ochsner.org/urgent care. Of course, you need to go to the ER or call 911 if you've got severe chest pain, severe bleeding, head trauma. That's where the emergency care comes in, maybe sudden vision loss or a severe allergic reaction, and Ochsner has that available to you as well. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there are virtual care options. My Ochsner virtual visits you can schedule online through My Ochsner. Download that My Ochsner app at www.ochsner.org/myo, or you can call Ochsner on call at 1-800-231-5257. That is Ochsner. I think that one thing that is moving towards its conclusion is Alan Graves' decision. I mentioned him on Friday. Alan is a Ponchatoula native. His older brother Marshall played for Will Wade at LSU. He went out to Santa Clara after a great prep career at Ponchatoula where they won a couple state championships, and he was West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year this year, the sixth man of the year. He was first team All West Coast Conference, had a phenomenal season, and he's now weighing his options, and these are the options I like to hear. Now, I realize there are Louisiana roots here at play, but it sounds like Alan Graves has three options. One is to play basketball at LSU next year. He's in the transfer portal, may do that. Another option is to go play for Duke. I like LSU and Duke in the same conversation. That makes me feel better. And the third option is to go play in the NBA, where he would very, very likely be a draft pick, potentially a late first-round draft choice. He's 6'9", 225 pounds, shot the ball exceptionally well. I watched some highlights of Graves today. He shoots the pick and pop three, catch and shoot three exceedingly well. Shot 40% from three-point range at 6'9" last year. That's a guy that could really be a really nice piece to Will Wade's first team here at LSU. Again, he's got a decision to make, but it feels like it might be trending in a good direction. We'll keep you posted on that. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll talk some LSU when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about Marucci as well. Marucci Sports is such a cool asset here in Baton Rouge. You're talking about a place that makes the official bat of Major League Baseball. Visit the wood shop that puts the bats in the hands of the best players in the world, and they come from right here. You can hear the story of how Marucci came to be from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball. They'll tell you that story on the campus tour. You can also see where they make 1,200 bats every single day that, again, go into the best hands in baseball. What an amazing thing. So if you've got a youth baseball team, got a youth softball team, got some kids under your roof, or just want to go check it out for yourself, go take a tour at Marucci. Go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Every single ticket comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store and in the hitter's house. Check them out online, maruccisports.com. That's maruccisports.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices. Visit us today on Valley Street, right off Perkins Road in South Downs.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The sixth season of the NBA's play-in tournament tips off tonight with the 9-10 winner-go-home matchup in the East and the Hornets hosting the Heat. 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. Miami's 4-2 all-time in play-in games. Charlotte's 0-2. The key to the matchup, defending the three-point line, believes ESPN NBA analyst and NBA champion Iman Shumpert.
I think that Miami has had a little bit of slippage, honestly, the last 10 games with defensively how they approach a game. I think they've been doing a great job scoring the ball. But when you're playing against the Charlotte Hornets, any type of defensive lapses, they are the type of team that will tear you up. It's a lot of penetration. It's a lot of highlight dunks. There's a lot of oops. There's long threes that they shoot.
The winner will hit the road to face the loser of tomorrow's 7-8 matchup between the 76ers and Magic to play for the 8th and final playoff spot in the East. Second matchup tonight, Trailblazers Suns in the West 7-8. Winner is the 7th seed, opens up the first round at San Antonio Sunday. The loser hosts the winner of tomorrow's Warriors Clippers game to decide the 8th seed in the conference.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, we'll react to the NBA play-in games and keep getting you ready for the NFL Draft. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We'll talk LSU and Northwestern State in about 15 minutes. Tigers and Demons from the box at 6:30 this evening, incidentally. If you'd like to listen to that ball game, you certainly can on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Pregame at 6 o'clock and first pitch at 6:30. Chris Blair will be on the call from the box. My preview is up at LouisianaSports.net right now if you'd like to read it. If you want to wait 15 minutes and just listen to me talk about it, we'll do that coming up in 15 minutes. Unfortunately, we do start the hour with a bummer of a news story. I felt this pretty strongly walking out of Tiger Stadium on Saturday. Matt Moscone is reporting over at LouisianaSports.net, confirmed it this morning. Aiden Anding lost for the season with a torn Achilles. Anding was the number 1 cornerback in the state of Louisiana in last year's high school class. Came in, played in 8 games largely on special teams as a true freshman this past season, and was primed to compete on the depth chart at corner for significant playing time in this coming season. And he tore his Achilles on Saturday. As I was sitting in the press box, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw Aiden Anding make probably the 2 best plays of the scrimmage. And Lane Kiffin said today when he met with the media that Anding was one of the MVPs of the workout inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday. In the first play, he went up over Corey Barber and made a heck of an interception near the goal line. Just an awesome leaping ball skills play to come down with an interception. The second interception was a throw out to the right, and he picked it moving towards the far sideline. I'm in the press box side of Tiger Stadium. And from our vantage point, keep in mind there's no tackling in the scrimmage. From our vantage point, it looked like he just went down. And you started looking, and he wasn't getting up. I talked about this on yesterday's show before we had this news. He wasn't getting up. And some of his teammates kind of waved the staff over, and then some of them kind of walked away, and the medical staff came over. And Anding was not able to put any weight on his foot leaving the field. And I just saw that, and I went, that's not great, because he didn't get tackled. And then when he spent upwards of 25 minutes on the medical table, there's no medical tent like on a Saturday. They fold that thing up and hide all the activity. This is just out on a medical table. And I didn't have my binoculars, but he was on that table for 25, 30, 35 minutes and didn't get up. If he tweaked his ankle, I don't think they would have done that. They took his pads off. Some of his teammates came to dap him up. And I looked at that and said, that's a guy who couldn't put any weight on his foot. It was a non-contact injury. He didn't come back to play. They put a boot on his foot. This doesn't look great. They just didn't. Now, I wrote what I saw on LouisianaSports.net. I talked about it on yesterday's show. I certainly didn't give any injury specifics because I didn't know him. But we found out that he did tear his Achilles. And it just looked like that. Certainly you're not going to speculate. It just looked like that. So huge bummer for Aiden Anding, who I think was primed to crack into the rotation. He wasn't going to be, in my estimation, a starting corner for LSU, but I think he was ready to crack into the rotation. And let's be very, very frank about LSU's situation at cornerback right now. It is very, very, very thin. Very, very, very thin. You still have your starters. Like DJ Pickett and PJ Woodland are your starting corners. Jakeem Jackson is now going to be a fourth-year college player that Corey Raymond has brought to two different places. He is third up in the cornerback depth chart. He probably goes to the boundary and kicks P.J. Woodland inside if he comes in the game. But you go to a third DB, you have one of those two guys get hurt. Jakeem Jackson is next. Beyond that, you are really thin and very, very short on guys who have contributed much. Now, Anding hasn't contributed much, but he's a guy that Corey Raymond really liked and obviously had two really good plays on Saturday. So with him gone, your next group up is Michael Turner, who is, yes, in his third season, also rail thin, like just a very, very skinny player out on the perimeter. You've got Amari Peterson, who was a late transfer in. You've got Traylon James, who comes in from McNeese. And then you got a pair of freshmen in Havon Finney, who is here for spring workouts, but is reclassified and is a year younger. He's younger than everybody out there. And then you've got Des Ellis, who isn't even enrolled yet. He's a summer guy. So, like, you got Pickett, Woodland, and Jackson. Good. That's a good start. Beyond that, it's a bunch of real question marks. Now, I trust Corey Raymond implicitly with the evaluation at that position. There are guys that he identifies that are 5 stars that he wants and gets. There are guys he identifies that are 3 stars that he brings in and develops. He's got a great eye for that. He's a great developer. We talked about Corey Raymond late last week and just how great a job he does with LSU in the secondary. But you don't have much beyond those top 3 in the way of real live snaps. So that wasn't a problem this time last year. This time last year, you could go jump in the portal and grab somebody. And LSU did that last year with Bernard Gooden. Like, they went and got a defensive tackle in the spring portal window. Kiffin had some success in the spring portal window last year. Ever heard of Trinidad Chambliss? They got him in that window. You could find a 5'11", 195-pound man to come play in the spring portal window last year. That portal's window's gone. Doesn't exist. You can't go get a high schooler either. You don't have an option to supplement this position group. So this is not a blow to your first group out. When Clemson breaks the huddle or takes the field, as it were, next September, this coming September, I should say, like, Anding wasn't going to be on the field for that first play, in my estimation. That's going to be Pickett, Woodland, Jackson, and then some sort of group of Ty Benefield, TaMarcus Cooley, Deshaun Spears. That's your first 6 guys. That's your first 6 DBs. But Anding was bidding to break into that, and I think could have. Now, you're one short there. You've still got 6 guys at the front of this group. And you've got some guys that I think the staff likes. I think they like Jace Thomas. I think they like Fahim Delane. But those are safeties. Those guys can play a little bit of star and nickel as well. They're not corners that cover. And corners that cover, you're razor thin. You just are. And so this is one of those, today, not a huge deal. If you were playing a game today, not a huge deal. One of those other corners is dinged up or gets a targeting ejection. You don't have guys that have played. You just don't. So it's going to be Corey Raymond's job now to work on getting some of the guys toward the bottom of this rotation ready to go. And it's a challenge. And you hope that you don't have to dip too deep into that well, but you just can't be sure. Injuries happen. Last year, Mansour Delane got hurt. And I know that Lane Kiffin tries everything he possibly can to avoid injuries, especially in spring. They're not going to practice at all in spring football. Sorry. They are going to practice. They're not going to tackle at practice at all in spring football. That's in an effort to try to keep his team healthy. And unfortunately, Gabe Relaford, done for the year. Aiden Anding, done for the year. Without tackling, without the most physical part of the game, you've had 2 season-ending injuries. And this one was just freak non-contact stuff. I watched it with my own 2 eyes. Saw the interception, saw him kind of go down, was hoping it was a celebration, not an injury. Didn't get up for a while, and now we have our answer. So we saw it. Matt reported it this morning on LouisianaSports.net, and Lane Kiffin confirmed it today at Aiden Anding. Going to miss the entire season in 2026. That puts LSU in a really, really, really thin spot at cornerback moving forward. Big, big bummer for Anding, who was entering a year where he could really have made an impact. He'll have to wait, and hopefully he's ready to go for spring football in 2027. All right, that's cranking it up here in hour number 2. When we come back, let's talk some baseball. What do I want to see tonight from the box? We'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. What an awesome place to work on your golf game. You know, the weather warms up here, and at times it's great to go out and hit some balls, but maybe it's rained. Maybe the wind's blowing really hard, as it does sometimes around the river. Maybe you just can't find grass to grow on the range that you like to go to. Maybe you just like to work on your game in your privacy. That can happen. Whether you're a scratch player or a beginner, go to Swing Easy Golf Club and work on your game. Go to that driving range feature on the simulator. You can hit shots. You see the trajectory. You see the carry distance. You see where your club impacts the golf ball. That's a really helpful thing for me to see where I'm making contact on the face of the club. And you don't have to worry about variables like grass growing or not, or wind blowing really hard, or whether or not it's rained and it's wet, or that's not a thing you have to worry about inside at Swing Easy Golf Club. Go by and see him at Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy Golf Club online at swingeasygcbr.com.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country. in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Let me remind you about Lifetime Roofing, online at lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetimeroofingla.com. How about a lifetime workmanship warranty? Lifetime workmanship warranty. If you're questioning, like, well, what company would offer a lifetime workmanship warranty? Well, Lifetime Roofing would. Lifetimeroofingla.com. Baton Rouge based, but they'll service anywhere in the state of Louisiana over into the Houston area as well. Look, it may not always be a full roof replacement. They're happy to do that at Lifetime Roofing, but get the inspection done. If they determine at Lifetime Roofing that, hey, somebody may be trying to sell you a full roof here, but you just need to do a repair, we'll do that for you. If it's just a tune-up that needs to happen to fortify that roof before storm season hits, Lifetime Roofing's happy to do that as well. If it does come to a full new roof and you need to finance that, Lifetime Roofing can do it, and you still come and get that lifetime workmanship warranty that also backs the materials that they use at Lifetime Roofing. Looking to get a new roof? Check out my friends at Lifetime Roofing, online at lifetimeroofingla.com. We know at this point that LSU has struggled in the midweek, and the struggles have come in different shapes and sizes. You had a brutal start to the season. You lost to McNeese, you lost to Louisiana Lafayette, you lost to Northeastern. You had a better go of it, even though they weren't the most aesthetically pleasing wins in the world. And then Bethune-Cookman happened last week, so it's been bad. And I think the root of the problem, not the entirety of the problem, there's plenty on that tree, but the root of the problem has been they can't find anybody to go out there and start a midweek game and get things off to a reasonable beginning. Last week, Marcos Paz goes out there and up and down in 5 pitches in the first inning. Sick. Awesome. And then 3 straight hits in the second, yanked from the game. Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman scored 3 runs in the inning, and they took control of the game. Southern, the week before, also scored 3 in the second inning. Jaden Nuke didn't make it through the second inning. You think you go with the veteran, he'll get us off to a good start against Southern. He couldn't make it through 2 innings. Grambling was the week before that. Reagan Ricken and Grant Fontenot did a nice job for 3 innings, but that was a month ago. Talking about a month ago, it was March 17th. And if you go back a week before that in the midweek, Creighton came in here. Reagan Ricken started. Dax Dothie came in the second. Ethan Plog, just not very good. Creighton led 4-0 after 3 innings. I've talked about their struggles as a team on the whole in the midweek, but really, here's what I'm asking for tonight. I don't think this is too much to ask. I really don't. You're playing a team from the Southland Conference. Now, they're leading the Southland Conference. They've got a pulse offensively. It's not a powerful team, not a team that's got a bunch of guys hitting for a high average. In fact, quite the opposite. But how about somebody just goes out there and gets the first 6 outs of the game without allowing a run? Like, that happens a lot in baseball. It's not an infrequent occurrence that a team doesn't score in the first 2 innings of a game. Just let the team breathe a little bit. Get off to a decent start. Maybe get control of this thing 5-0, and maybe your at-bats are a little bit easier in the 5th inning. Maybe the leverage for some of the relievers is a little bit easier in a 5-0 lead than it is when you're down 4-1 and you got to come in there and everybody's gripping the baseball as tight as they possibly can. And I got people in the infield not making quality plays and we're throwing balls and hitting guys. And like, just how about a little bit of an easier effort here? I don't have the answer as to who the guy is who can get me 6 outs. Once again, I'm not asking for someone to go out there and throw 6 shutout frames to go beat Northwestern State. I'm looking for 6 outs here. 6 outs. before it all goes to hell. Because that's what happens every week. Bethune-Cookman, Southern, Grambling, Creighton, Northeastern. Northeastern was up 10-0. Like, somebody give me 6 outs. I wrote this in a goofy game recap on LouisianaSports.net over the weekend because I'm trying to find different ways to tell the story of the same crap that keeps happening. But, like, hopefully Nike's doing a good job, or Marucci or whoever it is, of keeping Jay Johnson in comfortable tennis shoes. The guy's making 28 walks to the mound every time LSU plays a baseball game because he brings somebody in to get it out, and inevitably they hit 2 of the first 3 guys they face. Or they get bashed all over the yard, and he's got to go get somebody else. Like, I'm already mentally prepared to watch LSU use 11 pitchers tonight to go play Northwestern State. I would prefer that not happen. Only 2 regulars in this Northwestern State baseball team hit 280 or better. 2. Thomas Marsala is good. He's got 9 homers. He swung the bat well all year. But you're talking about the leading hitter for this Northwestern State team that has no home runs. You're talking about a Northwestern State team that doesn't hit for much power at all. And do they hit for a lot of average? Nope. 2 regulars over 280. Somebody step up and just get some outs. You don't have to shut them out. But, like, what if they only scored 2? And none of those 2 were in the first 2 innings? Boy, that would be something. So I asked Glenn West in the first hour, like, who would you give the ball to get things off to a good start in this game? And, you know, Glenn said, I'm not really sure. And that's probably the right answer because I don't think Nate Yeske or Jay Johnson are very sure either. I have one option that there's not a lot of statistical reason to go to this option, and I certainly don't think it's some sort of obvious thing that the coaching staff has not yet done. But I looked at this just based on my eye test and thought to myself, you know, that might be somebody who gives you a chance, and I'll toss it out there. This is who I would start tonight. I would start Dax Dothie. You look at this and go, why? How much has he even pitched? Not very much. Dax Dothie has thrown 4 1/3 innings, and he's got an 8.31 ERA. That's not exactly the most encouraging thing in the world. And yes, he has hit 4 guys in 4 1/3. But he's only walked 1, and he struck out 9, and he's old, and he's pitched a lot of college baseball, and I don't think he's going to be scared in front of what's going to be, 3,200 people in the first inning against Northwestern State on a Tuesday. I would start Dax Dothie and say, Dax, I need you to get 6 outs, and I need you to do it without walking people. If you need to throw fastballs over the plate, please do. If you need to spin breaking balls, because that's what you feel comfortable with, please do. But you are 25, 26, however old Zach Dothie is. He's been playing college baseball for 6 or 7 years. Don't walk anybody and get me 6 outs. Now, again, there are guys on this team with way better numbers than Dax Dothie. Santiago Garcia has better numbers. Reagan Ricken has better numbers. His ERA is 3.29 for the year, but he walks a lot of guys. 9 of them in 13 and 2/3 innings. He's also hit 5 guys. So there is no slam dunk answer here. He's tried Guidry. He's tried Ricken. He's tried Paz. He's tried Cooper Williams. I would probably go with Dax Dothie. Second on my list, candidly, is probably Connor Benj. Connor Benj has made 9 appearances. He's thrown 3 1/3 innings. He has not walked anybody. He has not hit anybody. And he's old. 4th-year college player. These are my 2 guys. I'm not asking them to close the game in a 1-run game in the 9th. If it doesn't go well, you're still in the same position you've been in every single Tuesday. You're behind the 8 ball again. So it's not a spot they're not comfortable with. And if we know one thing about this LSU team, when you face pretty subpar pitching, which they will tonight, they generally hit a lot. And the ball's probably going to be flying tonight. It's warm. It's a Tuesday. We're into the middle April. But this is my answer for the midweek woes in early time. I fully endorse what Jay Johnson did with Paz and Ricken. He's said, and he's given the reason, These guys, we anticipate in their time at LSU in this program will be starting pitchers. I'd like to get them some experience starting games. You go out in the bullpen before the game starts. You're on the field for the national anthem. Like you do some things that you'll have to do later on in your career. You throw the first pitch of the game. You're seeing the leadoff hitter and the 2-hitter and the 3-hitter, which are the best hitters in the lineup. Like I understand all of that, but none of it has been especially fruitful to this point. And LSU's got its back against the wall trying to win these games and not have the RPI plummet any further than it is. So to me, give me some old guys that might throw a 91, 92 mile an hour fastball over the plate more often than not, that are less likely to have a complete meltdown and implosion. And let's see if you can get off to a good start. I will give my kingdom, which is worth very, very little, but it is a saying. I will give my kingdom for 2 shutout innings to start the game tonight. How's that? Just 2. 2 shutout innings to start the game. We'll see what happens in the 3rd inning. We'll play them from there. But my thought is maybe LSU's top hitters can get some things rolling in the early innings, and you will stop playing from behind 4-1 every single Tuesday. I'd really like that to happen. We'll see if it does. Jay Johnson talked about the injuries on this team last night. He said that Chris Stanfield is feeling better after treatment on Monday. He should be good to go tonight. That's according to Jay last night on his coach's show. No available report for the midweek games. Seth Dardar sounds very doubtful for tonight. He tried to give it a go on Friday and Saturday in Oxford after sliding into the base very, very awkwardly last Tuesday against Bethune-Cookman. Just being out there hurt it worse. It was not good for him to be out on the field. So I think he will sit. Braden Simpson is the very likely candidate to take that job at second base tonight. He had a big 2-out, 2-run hit on Sunday against Ole Miss in that 7th-run 7th inning. So that's a guy who, at this level, the Southland level, which is what he was basically playing at High Point last year, raked. He hit .390 with 20-plus homers. So I like Simpson in this matchup against Northwestern State. We'll see if he can play a little bit of defense. But I'm less concerned with the offense. I believe tonight at the box, this LSU offense is going to score a little bit. I just would like to get off to a decent start on the mound. No 4-pitch walks to the leadoff guy. Don't hit 2 guys in the first. Let's try not to kick a double play ball around. Let's try to get some positive momentum going. You know, last week you were coming off a monster series win with a big comeback in the finale, and you let all the air out of the balloon against Bethune-Cookman on Tuesday. Let's flip that script. Atrocious weekend in Oxford. Awful. Just terrible start to finish. How about you flip that with some good stuff on a Tuesday? That's what I would like to see from LSU tonight. The game's at 6:30 against Northwestern State, who is again leading the Southland Conference at 14-7. They had won, I think, 6 series in a row prior to losing against Houston Christian in the rubber game back this weekend. So we'll see how things shake out. You can listen to it on E108.1. Pre-game will crank up at 6 o'clock. Chris Blair on the call. First pitch just after 6:30 from the box. We'll react to it tomorrow. I'll have a story up on LouisianaSports.net when it goes final. We'll come back. 30 minutes left to go on a Tuesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Almost summertime. You know what that means. Summer road trips with the family. If you need a little bit more room or need a new ride for those summer road trips with the kiddos, they've got some incredible SUVs over at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. I feel like everywhere I drive now, I see the Fabry Chevrolet sticker there on the back of those Tahoes, of those Suburbans, of those Yukons, Denali's. Clearly, y'all are heading up there to Highway 61 in St. Francisville and doing what this community's done for 35 years, trusting the Fabry family with a great buying experience and wonderful service after the sale. That's what they're going to do for you. They've done it for years and years and years now. New location on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. The entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com, so go out and check it out there. But stop on by. Go see them in St. Francisville on Highway 61. Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging along here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Lane Kiffin met with the media today after LSU's practice, and we had been able to watch about 2.5, 3 hours of LSU football practice since the time that we last spoke with Lane Kiffin. Saw about 2 hours on Saturday and saw over an hour today. So something that I was curious about, and he was asked about in the post-practice press conference, was the decision to put Bo Bordelon in at the left guard spot. Devin Harper had been running with the first team, and then over the course of the last 2 weeks, Bordelon has kind of taken that role. And as I've said many times, like the rotation in the spring sometimes means something, sometimes really, really doesn't. They're just trying to get guys reps. Sometimes you're looking at something for a practice or two. Sometimes a guy missed a meeting and he can't run with the first team because he doesn't know what they talked about there because he had to do something with a counselor. Like you never know what's going on. So to jump to conclusions based on a couple of days or a couple of drills isn't really worthwhile. But Bo Bordelon has been in there with the first team next to Jordan Seaton for the last few practices, and the question was asked about Bo Bordelon.
He's just done a really good job. We moved him into guard and had a competition going there, and as of Saturday, won it, even though obviously we're not playing a game. But we don't just make a depth chart and you stay there. If you get outplayed, we move the depth chart, daily. And he's been doing a great job and deserved the right to go in there and start and did a good job and play tackle and guard. And I think coaching, that has nothing to do with whoever the coaches were before. Nothing to do with that. Coaching always, sometimes fresh starts are good for players, and guys come in and see different things or a different system. And our line coaches have been really excited about him from day one working. James Craig had a background with him back when he was in high school, and so he's done a good job.
Bordelon was, in my opinion, I don't know this story intimately, but my opinion is that he was probably going to be at LSU if he was good enough, because his dad played at LSU. His dad was instrumental in the hiring of Lane Kiffin. He's an influential person in this state, and that's a guy that was born and raised purple and gold and was going to be part of the mix, but he hasn't played very much and has always stuck it out, and I guess was never going to go anywhere but LSU, and is now getting an opportunity with that first team. And they're looking at a lot of different things on the offense, because the offense is all new players and is trying to learn a new system and is, quite frankly, struggling a little bit with the defense. And I thought they looked a little bit better today, but I did watch all of Saturday, and it was ugly offensively. And Lane Kiffin talked about kind of the the process of getting the offense up to speed and just what he saw on Saturday.
That was discouraging in the moment Saturday, offensively. The way that we played, the lack of explosive plays, the lack of plays made in competitive situations. So that's discouraging, not where I would expect to be. But, Charlie reminds me that, when we made a decision to sign Sam, that this was going to be part of it, that you weren't going to feel as good in the spring because he wasn't going to be available, so you don't have your quarterback, you don't have arguably your top receiver out there. But it's a lot of work to do there. It doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't, and that's why they got a spring, and they got a summer, and they got all of August to get things moving in the right direction. But offensive line is certainly something that's got to be significantly better than it was. And we talked about Bo Bordelon's insertion and what he may mean. I gave you some thoughts at the top of the show today about Jordan Seaton's one-on-one reps, which were absolutely phenomenal. Weston Davis won a couple of one-on-one reps today. You know that Braylon Moore has got some skins on the wall in the ACC and in the Southeastern Conference as well. So you feel like the offensive line is moving in the right direction, and it's got to. I think they'll be aided by a few different things this fall. I think they'll be aided by an influx of talent. You move in Jordan Seaton, you move in Devin Harper, you move in Aluba, you move in some options at right tackle. Tompkins comes in from Baylor, Harper comes in from Ole Miss. You've got an influx of talent, and I think they'll be aided by an offense that is a little bit more friendly to an offensive line, that spreads things out a little bit, that moves quickly, can tire defensive linemen out. And Lane Kiffin talked about the improvement he's seen even in the last 3 weeks with the offensive line.
Yeah, I think that offensively position has probably developed the best, through a couple weeks, and, has played well together, and in my opinion is dramatically improved from when we got here. So that's probably been the one bright spot as you re-looked at the film. Now again, like I said, I have really high standards and expectations, and we're not tackling, so that obviously creates more yards because there's missed tackles within a game and you feel a little better. But I think the offensive line is coming along really well.
Now, the other thing you heard Lane Kiffin say in the bite prior to that, as we move from the offensive line, is that, look, what Charlie Weiss told him is you don't have your starting quarterback. So you've got a couple of guys in very different spots. Huson Longstreet was a 5-star quarterback, went to USC, sat last year, but got some mop-up duty, but big-time talent who's looking for his next opportunity. And then you've got Landon Clark, who played a lot last year, was a starting quarterback at Elon, but it's Elon. It's a completely different world. So you've got those two guys trying to pilot this ship offensively. They're just not Sam Leavitt. They're not guys that have played a bunch of Big 12 football and have started a college football playoff game and a conference championship game and have been in an SEC stadium as a starter. Like, it's just a different deal, and so that's what you're looking at. But he's also, while Sam Leavitt is sitting, working with those two guys as potential starters later on, and at the very least, the backup quarterback this coming year for a guy that's coming off an injury. Let's start with Huson Longstreet and what he's seen from him.
Yeah, he had a really poor decision Saturday and one today, but he has played today and Saturday for a long portion of time within the scrimmage and the practice really well, and is playing his best by far from the practices since we've been here. So that's been obviously really good to see. And he's made a lot of plays in competitive situations that are off-rhythm plays, which is, to me, a huge part of the quarterback, because the plays don't always go the way they're designed to go. And can the guy move around and make people miss and make off-rhythm plays? Obviously, it's one thing we get all the credit for in coaching, but it's really the player. And can they make those plays in those critical situations is huge at that position.
So you talk about Longstreet and his talent. I watched him take off left tackle earlier today, and he's got some wheels. He can go a little bit, and so the arm is good as well. There's a lot to work with, but the decision-making's got to come with it. And this is a fast offense. It's a new offense, and you're playing against a lot of good defensive players out there. So it's a learning process for Huson Longstreet. It's a learning process for Landon Clark, who's taken more of the reps with the first team instead of Sam Leavitt, and Lane Kiffin talked about Landon Clark as well.
Yeah, I think that showed Saturday. I mean, it just is what it is. I don't care what sports you play, even if it's recreational sports you guys play. Like, when you go play against really good people, all of a sudden it's harder. and the windows are smaller, and you underthrow a little bit, it gets picked off here. So when you move up like he has, there is some challenges right away just to getting used to that and understand I can't get away with those habits that I had before in playing a position.
So it's just reps for those two quarterbacks. And I think that it was probably a little bit easier sell to get those guys to LSU because of how many reps they were going to get in the spring. For those that missed my first segment of the show today, your starting quarterback, Sam Levitt, was attending practice. He was in a helmet. He was in shoulder pads. He didn't practice. He was just out there. He was standing behind the offense as they went through drills. He was standing with the coaches as reps were going on in front of him, but not taking any snaps, not handing the ball off, not making any throws. So the other two guys are getting a ton of runs. So is Emil Picarella. And while you're signing up to come in and not start and not play, which is very rare in the transfer portal, they are coming in with an opportunity to get a lot of reps in practice this spring and trying to take advantage of that. So we've hit a lot of the different aspects of offense, talked about the offensive line, talked about Bordelon, talked about the quarterbacks. Also, running back is a place that has been interesting, and you know what you have coming back in Harlem Berry, super talent, Caden Durham, all SEC freshman, and they've got some time in the program, and they've got some production behind them. Then you bring in 4 different options from the transfer portal, and one of them, to me, has really risen above the rest, and that's Dylan Jones from Wisconsin. He is big. He is physical. Kevin Smith likes the way he goes through drills, and we saw a good bit of him today, and Lane Kiffin talked about what Jones brings to this running back group.
He looks really good, has come in and been good in protection, been good in his vision, his feet, running the ball, and has been really a bright spot. Like I said, where offensively we've struggled to find those. And obviously, again, the tackling part, is a difference in that position specifically. But for a guy that wasn't a headliner, he's played like it. And that's really critical, because that spot is extremely critical to have somebody or a number of people that, again, just like the quarterback spot, makes the plays when everybody's not blocked up and makes the significant plays. And he's done that.
We can't tell everything from practice, but we can tell some stuff. What I can tell you is that Dylan Jones is going to play. Yep, there are 2 running backs back from last year's team. Dylan Jones is going to play. He's big. He's physical. He has great burst. He is really good in the drills that Kevin Smith puts his team through, his group through. We see more of the running backs up close and personal than any group on the field. They just happen to practice right next to where we're allowed to stand. So if you want to go by, we have to move out of the way for some of the running back drills. Like, they are literally where we stand. So we can hear every word Kevin Smith says. We can hear every coach of every rep. And Dylan Jones draws a lot of praise, does things the right way, and he looks different than the other backs. He's just bigger. So that's a guy, you can hear it in Lane Kiffin's voice. You can see it in the reps with the individual periods, and you can see it in team periods. They snapped him the ball directly a couple times in short yardage today. He had some tough runs in there today, even though they're not tackling. And you can just tell that, Harlem Berry's going to play. Yep, Caden Durham's going to play. But absolutely, Dylan Jones is going to play for this LSU team. And they've got a lot of work to do on offense. But I, as I said at the top of the show, I really believe they were a lot better today than they were on Saturday. Saturday was tough. It was tough to watch. Today was a lot better. Had some really good things happening. And I think that as you trust Lane Kiffin, as you trust Charlie West Jr., and you realize the starting quarterback is not out there yet, there's a lot of growth that can happen between now and Labor Day for LSU offense, and it's at a lot of different positions as well. So that's our look at LSU football here. We did it for 3 segments today, so if you missed any of it, catch it on demand at Hunt on LSU, wherever you find your sound, of course, on YouTube as well. That stuff's uploaded daily over at Hunt on LSU. We'll take one more time out, come back, close it up. It's a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. Right now is the time to make sure your commercial insurance policy is properly written. You don't want to do that when there is a hurricane in the Gulf. At that point, there will be a moratorium on coverage, and you'll have what you have. And if what you have is the cheapest thing you could find from a broker who just came in and promised to save you some money, that may hurt you on the back end if you're out of work for 2 weeks because we had a storm blow through. So look today. Call the Highland Insurance Group. Tell Jonathan Carver's team, hey, I just want to be sure that I'm in a good space for hurricane season. You have enough time right now to go through everything you need to go through to make sure that your building is properly evaluated, that you're properly zoned for flooding, that you have the right business interruption limit, that your deductible is right, whether it's a named storm, whether it's a percentage, wind and hail. Take care of all those things. You can't do it once the storm's already here. We know they're inevitable. It's been a nice, quiet couple of years around here, and I certainly hope there's another few quiet in front of us. But we all know that next storm is always coming, just a matter of when. Make sure your commercial insurance program reflects that and is properly written. If you don't know, contact the Highland Insurance Group online at highlandig.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, highlandig.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Just a reminder to check out LouisianaSports.net. I mean, just today at LouisianaSports.net, broke the news of Aiden Anding's injury. That was up on our site first. Got a preview of LSU and Northwestern State tonight. We've got a full practice report for myself and Matt Moscona. Ross Jackson covering the New Orleans Saints. Got mock drafts coming out almost every single day. He's just doing an incredible job of comprehensively covering where the Saints may go next. That doesn't mean just the first round. He's done 7-round mocks over at LouisianaSports.net. So if you're a Saints fan, an LSU fan, you want free, comprehensive coverage, breaking news, practice reports, opinion columns, it's all there at LouisianaSports.net. We really appreciate you all for helping the site grow as much as it has over the last almost 2 years. It's been a lot of fun to get it up off the ground, and it's running. So we'll have another midweek baseball post-game story up this evening. Hopefully it's in a more pleasant tone. I don't think my Saturday one was in a very pleasant tone. I was not super thrilled with how that went. Got 10 run ruled in Oxford, but it is what it is. That's what you got to do. So go check it out at louisianasports.net. Also got to tell you about Immense Cloud IT Management. Look, I think when we think IT, a lot of times you think about the one person, two people in your company that are overworked because everybody's computer's having issues. That's part of IT, but it's certainly not the whole picture. Immense IT Network is a completely different set of circumstances. They're a proactive consultant. They're here to make your business grow via the use of technology. So if you've got an overworked IT department or you've got a third-party department that's just not helping you at all, let the folks over at Immense come in. They don't have any contracts. They're here to help. They're Baton Rouge base, LSU alums, and are certainly more than happy to become a consultant with you to help move your business forward. A lot of times business owners, employees don't even know that something's not working properly. That's where Immense can come in and go, hey, do you know that this can do this, that you can do this way, or that this is an issue here? You'd be shocked at what you might not know. Immense can help you. So find them at immense.net, immense.net. All right, let's do some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so with the FIFA World Cup coming to the United States, well, North America in 2026, the traditional tailgates at these venues like Arrowhead Stadium, MetLife Stadium, Gillette Stadium will be prohibited. In the case of MetLife Stadium, the parking lot will be largely unavailable. So for the fans, rather than tailgating, they'll be directed to like pregame festivities, special fan zones, or some little stuff they're talking about. So can the European mind not comprehend a tailgate? Take it or leave it?
I mean, I guess I got to take it. I mean, they're going to a lot of pubs and stuff over across the pond, but we like to get in the parking lot, throw some chairs down, get the ice chest out. Get
the grill going.
That's part of the charm of American sport. I love it. Can't get enough. I mean, I like to watch. I like to get things going in a bar before games. Some of the most fun I ever had was before the 2008, which was 2008 national championship game that Hester and Flynn played in. I spent 9 hours in the quarter before that with my college buddies.
That's a good day.
It was a great day. A lot of time at Pat O's, a lot of times down at Lafitte's. Had a great day, and then they won.
You can remember that day. It's special.
Well, look, it was a long day. It went until like 6:45 a.m. So it was. But look, when you're a college sophomore, you've got superpowers.
Yeah, so time is not real.
It was a thing of beauty. But yeah, I mean, I love a good tailgate. One of the things I struggle to say dislike. One of the things I wish was different in my life is the fact that I can't tailgate because I got to go in there and write a game story or do a pre or post game show. And generally speaking, I can't go to Pat O's and do a post game show. That's not going to go super well. So pro tailgating. Let them tailgate.
All right, we got to get somebody to get Hunt some like a plate or something. So you walk into the stadium, we got a plate waiting on you or something like that. So Flau'jae Johnson was drafted at 8 overall last night in the WNBA draft. Yeah. That's now 3 top 10 picks under Kim Mulkey, Angel Reese, Anissa Morrow. So is LSU women's basketball becoming a WNBA pipeline? Take it or leave it.
I will take that. I mean, UCLA's had some picks last night. South Carolina's had some picks. UConn's had some picks, but LSU certainly holding its own in that regard. And Kim's running really good players through there. You can't. Jay Johnson says it. Kirby Smart says it. Everybody says it. You got to get players to win championships.
100%.
And Kim Mulkey has won championships. She knows she's got to get players, and she's gotten some good ones around here.
100%. One of the things I've heard on doing live at lunch, Jimmy has these guys that do the horse racing. The guy, I never forget this. He came on there and said, you can't win the Kentucky Derby with a jackass. And
that's
that stuck with me so much. Like you need good players to get over the hump.
You sure do. What was it? That brought something to light. So Flau'jae, she gets picked by Golden State, Bay Area, and then gets traded to Seattle. That's not that big a mental hurdle.
Not really.
It gets kind of the same. It's not the same, but it's kind of. It's one thing. It'd be one thing if you got picked by Golden State and they sent you to Atlanta. That's a completely different world. Yeah. For someone who spent a lot of time in Louisiana, she spent 4 years in Louisiana.
Yeah.
To have you're going to the Pacific Northwest, you're going to the Northwest. It's the West. It's all kind of the same. Not a huge mental gymnastics.
And also,
think about if you're like Kobe, you got the Hornets to the Lakers. That's a different world.
You know,
you're going right up the coast.
Raleigh, North Carolina to Los Angeles, California. You kind of can't even compare those on the sense.
You also can't compare the Hornets to the Lakers, in terms of it.
Yeah, very true. So Sergio Garcia apologized Tuesday for his outburst in the final round of the Masters. So my take it or leave it was the apology needed? Take it or leave it?
Take it. I mean, he acted like a 4-year-old. Of course, the apology was necessary. Breaking drivers, looking like a clown.
And he's basically he broke it on his leg or something on the cooler.
Yeah, he's an idiot. He's just a clown. He is the least likable golfer in the history of the sport.
Over Bryson?
Oh, easily. Bryson.
Whoa, okay.
Bryson is harmless. He's just goofy.
Okay.
Sergio is just a jerk, and that's just all there is to it. So
that's it for it. Take it or leave it.
All right, that's it for us on a Tuesday. Want to see you out at Court to Table tonight, 8:00 sports trivia. Be out of there by about 9:15. You can win gift cards and have something cold to drink, something delicious to eat. Hope to see you at 8:00. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. That, of course, will be for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Love telling you about First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com. That's FABT.com. But stop on in. You stop on in First American Bank and Trust, you're going to see somebody you recognize. Why? Because it's a locally owned and operated bank, and every one of their 24 locations, shorter than one, 25 locations, is here in Southeast Louisiana. So the people that work there are part of your community. And the people that work there are the people making decisions about your commercial loan or your residential loan for the home of your dreams. If you want local people making the decisions for your business, bank with a local bank, First American Bank and Trust. And when I say local bank, don't think, mom and pop shop. 25 locations. They've got the resources you need, the creativity you need for your commercial loan. It's First American Bank and Trust, 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Online at FABT.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce.